Be sure to subscribe to Solutionaries to see all our latest videos right here on YouTube.
Now, used car sales are going through the roof. More asphalt than there is rubber to stand on top of it for sale.
Live tonight with just how good the deals are right now.
At the beginning of the pandemic, used car sales skyrocketed to record levels, and dealers had more cars than they could handle, making it a true buyer's market.
We've got more cars than we've ever had, and in order for us to buy more cars, obviously we have to sell them. So it's a perfect time to buy a car, that's for sure.
But in late 2021, all of that came to a sudden stop. Lingering COVID, paired with crippling supply chain problems, factory shutdowns, and dealership price gouging, drove car prices way up. Take a look at this graph from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The blue line is new cars, and the red line is used. Those shaded areas, those are recessions. You can see things stayed relatively steady most of the time for new cars, used cars a little less, but still pretty even, until here. After the pandemic recession, when car prices jumped to their highest levels ever. And that led to another interesting rise. The number of people buying electric bikes or e-bikes.
It really introduced me to alternative transportation at the time. I'm Jason Hall with Ride Detroit and Electric Avenue Bikes Detroit.
Jason spent years leading the group Slow Roll Detroit, a group of urban bike riders that gained national attention before he left to start a company giving e-bike tours of his city. There's even one where you stop at all of his favorite pizza joints. But he wasn't sold on them right away.
You know, I had all these misconceptions in my mind, like you had to be overweight or you had to be disabled. So I looked at them and I said, why would you think I needed that, man? I was like offended. I said, I ride my bike, and they said, no. Take it out for the weekend, try this thing out, open your mind, and that's one of the key things I tell people all the time about these.
E-bikes are becoming some of the hottest selling ways to get around, outpacing the sales of both electric and hybrid cars combined in the U.S. in 2021. And it's not hard to see why. E-bikes can start as low as $1,600, while the average price of a used car has hit more than $41,000.
Why do you think people are switching from cars to e-bikes?
I think there's a couple different reasons. I mean, there's the obvious gas dependency. You know, when you get an e-bike, you're not dependent on that anymore. You have a lot more freedom. But I think a lot more people are moving to cities and into commutable situations. You know, in the old days, I mean, we're from the Motor City. So everything in Detroit was set up, even if it was to go to the grocery store that were blocks away, they really set up ways to make it hard for you to do that unless you got in your car. Where now cities are adapting to a different lifestyle and a different way of thinking.
Do you think it's weird that sort of this e-bike revolution is happening in the Motor City, where we've built our lives in this whole city around cars?
You know, yes and no. You know, Detroit's always been a bike city. You know, one of the first roads that were built for bikes were built in Detroit. So we talk about the Motor City, and that was really an era in Detroit. But we've always been a wheeled city.
But there are some drawbacks for people with long commutes who have to be out in the weather. They also don't go as fast as most road speeds, and a lot of cities aren't set up to have bikes with very few bike lanes. Not to mention, they work better in urban areas as opposed to more rural places. But Jason thinks maybe these bikes are just ahead of their time, especially if those car prices are here to stay.
I often say that they're the bike of the future, but they're really the bike of now. It's not just e-bikes. I mean, you look around, you've got e-scooters, you've got all kinds of alternative transportation. I think people are just ready to do something new.
We'd like to hear what you think about the topic. Leave us a comment below. And be sure to subscribe to our Solutionaries channel. We're just getting started.